And we're live. All right, that's another little bit of an awkward entrance. Guys, how we doing? I'm going to say guys because apparently I checked my demographics, my analytics on YouTube, and they have let me know that all of you, 100% of you watching right now, whether it's during the show, whether it's after the show, I see my internet's messed up, so hopefully you're hearing this. After the live, during the live, you are all men, and you are all age 45 to 55. So welcome. 4% of you are Vietnamese and watching with subtitles, which I can't imagine what that's like. So for those people, I'm going to say shamalama ding dong and hope that comes through. So yeah, if you're Vietnamese, let me know what that meant in the comments, how that came through on your subtitles. So we've got, 3 people here today? So Menagerie Beetle and Aunt Sandy. I'm still looking to try to figure out how to find Aunt Sandy and Beetle Guy on YouTube to make you guys mods. Let's see, what was some other news? I had other news for you guys, and I don't know what it is. But today we have TJ Ombrelle. It's French, so, or ombre. It could be ombre. So I'm not really good at my pronunciation. So he's going to join us. We're going to talk about one of my favorite insects, or arachnids, I guess. They're not insects, but daddy long legs or harvestmen. Okay. I don't really know how they got that name, but maybe TJ does. So he doesn't keep the traditional ones, and apparently they're difficult to keep. But the cool ones that you see in the hobby, right, that are in culture. So we are going to talk about that right as soon as I can move my mouse over to TJ right now.
Hey.
Hey, TJ. So people have been excited for this one. So I'm
Yes.
surprised there's not more, but I've already gotten apologies that people have stuff going on tonight. So they'll watch tomorrow.
Yeah.
Lighting is a little off. Oh, maybe it is. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll fix that while you talk about harvest.
All right.
Tell us, what are the species that you keep right now?
Okay. So I have Eumesosoma roweri, which is a black velvet harvestman, I've been calling them.
Okay.
Which I forget exactly what family they're in, but they're in a different family than the rest of the harvestmen I keep. The rest of the harvestmen I keep are armored harvestmen, so family Cosmetidae. I have Libidioides sei and Libidioides ornata, which used to be Venomous, but have since been moved to a new genus. I think actually it was a genus that was synonymized with Venomous, but has been resurrected as being different than Venomous. So
I think we're all seeing a lot of that in the hobby these days. Like every hobby is like, oh, it's not that anymore.
Yep. Basically, big lot of taxonomy changes lately in the bug hobby. So yeah, so now it's Libidioides ornata, Libidioides sei, and there's now a third species in the U.S. too that has been resurrected from being synonymized with ornata. It's like LLLLINNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNNN. So Libidioides ornata, Libidioides sei, and I have a species of Stignoma from Big Pine Key, Florida. It was collected by Alan John. They're like less than half the size. They're really, really small. Less than half the size of the Libidioides. Like a quarter of the size, really. And red. And they got little spines on their butts. They're really cute. Which I'll try to show some of those off today, but I hope my camera will pick them up because they're so small.
I hope mine stops freezing on me. So apparently I'm still frozen, but as long as you can hear me, I'm okay with it. So people aren't logging in for this face. I'll tell you. So
as you unfreeze on my screen.
Did I unfreeze? Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
Oh, for a second. Yeah.
Perfect. I should have mentioned my face earlier.
Yeah.
So sorry, I'm glad I'm frozen. I have something in my eye. So out of the 3 that you're keeping now, or you said 4, out of the 4 that you're keeping now, which one would you say is your favorite right now that you have?
Well, my new favorite is the newest one I got, the Stignoma, the little itty bitty ones, just because they're new, you know. It's like they're my, you know, you get a new species and you dote on them for a while, like, oh, these are awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Josh's video has the quality of a Bigfoot photo. All right, cool. There's my audience. Now we have 12 people in here. So
we got
we got Luch.
Yep.
Who else is in here? Young Lad. And of course, Justin and Moon. Awesome. Thanks for coming in, guys. You'll have to rewind to see all the great jokes and the statistics that we have on the show. So feeding, you were saying before the episode, we kind of chatted a little bit. So general care is about the same for all of these guys. So if I'm new, I am. If I'm new with these guys, and I totally am, what is the husbandry setup? Like, what's my setup going to look like for a small colony? So and while you talk about that, I'm going to try to get my internet fixed. So if I log out, keep going.
Okay. Hey guys, this is the Invertebrate Dude stream now. So for a basic setup for Harvestmen would be, an inch or so of substrate. It can literally be anything. I use coconut fiber for most of mine. Then I eat in the substrate. They are detritivores. They eat just like anything you throw at them. But that being said, even if your substrate's like the most like organically rich, tasty substrate to like millipedes and isopods and stuff, the Harvestmen are barely going to be eating any of that. They might nibble on it if they're starving, but for the most part, they're pretty protein hungry. They enjoy things like fruit flies, springtails, micro roaches, pre-killed larger invertebrates as well. They usually gang up on. They'll also nibble, depending on the species. They'll feed on fish flakes and dog food and that kind of thing. Most of them prefer live or pre-killed invertebrate prey as their protein source, but many will nibble on some of the typical pet foods as well. But definitely when you're breeding them, you want there to be lots of tiny live prey available.
Okay.
Particularly, fruit flies or springtails. I use springtails and micro roaches. If they do not have live prey, they usually start eating their babies. They don't really eat each other much. Like the same life stages, don't really eat each other much. But larger individuals will eat smaller individuals, especially like tiny babies that are hatching out, if there's not enough little food items to distract them. So that can be a bit, my Harvestmen aren't breeding. A lot of times they are. They're just eating their babies as soon as they hatch out because it's tasty little morsels for them.
Just delicious.
Yeah.
Now, these guys, where would they lay their eggs? Like, what is the normal spot for them to lay their eggs?
Most species lay them under the substrate. Some adhere them to objects instead. Jeremiah Toole in Canada has a really cool big Harvestman from South Central America, and those are like laying eggs like on his cork bark, like in a big clump, and like guarding the eggs, which is really cool. But most of the species you're going to see in the U.S. don't do that. They just bury them singly in the dirt or in clumps in the dirt. Some will adhere them to objects like right below the substrate line or right above the substrate line, but for the most part, they bury them.
So they have like an ovipositor, or are they actually trying to like burrow a little bit? Like, do they?
They have a little bit of an ovipositor. It like jets out when they're laying eggs. Yeah.
So it's just under the surface.
Yeah, usually. Well, yeah. Like the Umesosoma I have lay at about like a centimeter under the surface if they can actually.
Okay.
In big clumps, but yeah.
Centimeter. That's like a lot times. I
feel like yes. Yeah, they're not
like
tiny Harvestmen, but they're pretty. Yeah, so it must telescope pretty far. The ovipositor must like really go down. I've never seen them lay eggs. They're very secretive about it, but
I bet.
Yeah.
They don't want to see. They don't want to see how they get in there. They lay it on their toe and they just push that skin
and then
yeah.
What do you think the long legs are for?
That's exactly it. That we cracked the code. Show's over, guys. All right.
Yep.
We did it. So you're doing live food for what's the humidity level like in there and the ventilation? What do you want?
Pretty high. Most species like it pretty high. There are some desert Harvestmen. I've not kept them yet that like it probably a bit more like 50-50, if anything. But even in the desert, most of these species are seeking out humid microclimates. So that's something to keep in mind. Ventilation for a lot of them is either moderate to low ventilation. A lot of the more tropical humidity loving ones, they don't need that much airflow. Some of the more arid loving species or ones from like Western US should probably be given high levels of ventilation. And especially like the common backyard Harvestmen, I think also like a lot of ventilation, which is
that makes sense.
Kind of, yeah. So
they're more of a dry, like mine.
They're
more
not
arid, but
yeah. And they're like out and about more too. So they're not like hiding under objects all the time. So it's
Yeah, I see
underneath
mine
objects, the
mostly.
humidity is higher. But if they're just out traveling the world like most of the typical leggy harvestmen do, it's lower humidity overall being out in the
Yeah,
open.
my guys are out.
Yeah.
I'm teaching my daughter this year. We're going to do some
Mhm.
bug safaris. So
Yeah.
she
Nice.
wants to bring the neighbor kids, and I'm like, no, they're destroyers.
Yeah. Yes.
We're
Yeah.
not.
They're
We're not
smashers.
including.
Yeah.
Yes.
No. Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
just grab something. Like they don't mean to,
Mhm.
but they just grab
Mhm.
something. And they're
Yeah.
like,
And it's just
oh,
it's dead.
yeah, it's another smear. Okay.
Yeah.
And those guys our harvestmen are very
Mhm.
prone to, even when you're trying, they're prone to smearing. So
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
So, and you were saying like the local ones or the American ones are
Mhm.
generally soft-bodied and
Yeah.
animalistic even.
Yeah. They don't
Oh,
like
Wally?
being pinned up too much, especially if they don't
Yeah.
have enough food items. They will kind of cannibalize each other a lot. And it's funny because a lot of the most common ones in backyards across the U.S. are actually European invasives.
Oh, okay.
Of course, yeah. So, but I think that there are some U.S. species that look almost identical to the European ones that are fairly common still. So, but yeah, so yeah, those tend to be a little bit more fragile overall, just because physically they're more fragile than like the armored harvestmen.
Every
So.
time I hear about invasives from Europe now that came over like with colonists,
Mhm.
I picture in my head, because we know like how Florida has a lot of invasives and
Yeah.
like Australia, right?
Mhm.
So I picture in my head like some like colonist kid with a box
Yeah.
that has like dirt and some harvestmen in it, or dirt and earthworms, or
Yeah.
right? Because
That's
all
what,
those things were
yeah,
not here when we got here.
no, but
So
yeah.
yeah,
There's
yeah,
that's basically what happened, pretty much.
yeah, like
Except
ballast of ships, really, right?
Yeah. Balance the ships in with potted plants and shit. I'm sure from the Victorian ages, everyone bringing shit over here.
Oh,
But,
right. Yeah, I
yeah.
didn't think of that because I know
Yeah.
that we did that even working
Mhm.
in a store with a garden center. We'd
Yeah.
have all kinds
Yeah.
of. All of a sudden, we'd find little anoles running around everywhere.
Oh my
or
gosh,
small lizards.
really?
You're like,
Oh
what?
my gosh.
Yeah, that was like 35 years ago. So
Yeah.
probably not anymore.
Yeah,
Probably
I'd
not.
say nowadays, be like USDA wants to know your location.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
they
they
lock
can't
in.
be
They
having
come
that.
in.
Yep.
Yeah, Fish
We
and
got
Wildlife
lizards
comes
in
in
here.
with smoke grenades. Yeah, it's no good.
Yep.
It's no
Smoke
good.
grenade, flashbangs. Everyone down on the ground. Where's your nail gun?
We're gonna call for about a lizard.
Yeah.
Where's your nail gun? I hate to joke about it, but that's.
I know, but
I mean, it's a thing. It's
the state.
ridiculous.
It is.
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous how they get with
They get
certain
away with that.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They don't care.
Yeah.
We got some other logins. We're doing good.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna freeze again because my internet just went stupid.
Yeah. Oh no.
So at least this log out was intentional. So oh my god, I had more questions. So then broods, like when you're getting a clutch in, what are you talking? Like what's the average? I guess it probably varies, right?
It depends on the species. Usually it's like about like 20 eggs a clutch.
Okay.
I get like with the libidioides, I get like waves of babies. So it's like, okay, this week I have like 20-ish babies, and then like a few weeks later I might have another like dozen or two come out.
Okay.
It's hard to keep track exactly, especially when they do. Even with good food availability, they still cannibalize the babies a little bit, not to an extreme level, but so it makes it a little hard to keep track of exactly how many you're producing. And then the black velvet harvestmen I have, the Umesosoma, those lay a ton of eggs. Those have been like dozens and dozens of eggs over the winter. Just in big clumps. Usually have like I would say anywhere like 15 to 20 eggs per clump under the ground.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And so those hatch out super tiny, but there's a lot of them. So yeah, those are definitely the most prolific harvestmen I've had so far. So, but yeah, most species, yeah, you're gonna average around like 20-ish eggs a clutch. So, yeah.
Black velvet, and you said that's what you call them. So I got to give you props. Like, common names are a big deal to me. I don't know if you saw that. Like that was one of my favorite episodes. But that's a great name for a common name.
Yeah, because they're kind of like velvety and black. So I was like, that's just what I'm gonna call them, black velvet harvestmen. No one's ever bred these before, so I was like, I get to name them. I'm just gonna go with the most simple, description for them.
And it makes them marketable. Nobody wants to say
Yeah.
like whatever Latin you said. I'm not going to try to learn Latin. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
I cover too many types of animals. I can't do it. I won't do it.
Yeah.
I try. Ornatus. I got the half of the back half.
Yeah.
And that, I think that one's the most popular right now in the hobby. Is that right? The Ornatus, I think.
Ornata and Sei, yeah. A lot of people mix the two up. They're very similar looking. Libidioides Sei and Libidioides Ornata. A lot of Sei get sold as Ornata, but Ornata have two spines on their back, like actual spines.
Okay.
Whereas Sei have like 4 very low tubercles, so just like little bumps, but not spines. But only when they're adults. Baby, like immature Sei have spines, which is really weird. But once they're adults, they lose the spines. Whereas Ornata keep the spines. So that's like the main difference between the two.
Real easy.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I tell you, why do insects never make it easy to keep them classified?
Yeah. Well, there's so many of them. That's why.
So now, do you know of any more that like fluoresce? Because I know that was a big deal.
So yeah, see, I don't have like a black light, so like I don't see things fluorescing in my care. So I'm not sure exactly what fluoresces. I know Sei and Ornata do. That probably the new species or the old species that's now a valid species, Libidioides albilineata. I think those probably fluoresce as well because they look just like Sei. So it's the little yellow bands on their back that usually fluoresce. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, which makes me wonder because there's a localities of Sei that are just like completely orange and lack any banding. So I wonder what those would look like under black light.
That would be cool.
Yeah. So
Wally, did you hear that, Wally? Wally and I are obsessed with orange. So
really, yeah.
I think even though there's like 50 kinds of orange isopod, and I have one. Yeah, 2. I'm sorry, 3.
3.
I don't even know how many isopods. 17. I have 17.
Yeah.
It's 3.
They're all orange. You only have orange.
Yep. Yep. But what's like one of each? I have officinalis. I don't know. We're not talking about isopods right now, but we'll keep doing tangents.
Yeah.
So keeping them. Now, when you're keeping them, and you said keep food on hand all the time, so you're basically running cultures of springtail and microroach in there, or do they not live long enough? Like they don't.
So microroaches usually live long enough to keep breeding in these enclosures, especially because they don't really go after the larger individuals of the microroaches. They mostly eat the babies when they're hatching out.
Okay.
So I have breeding populations of microroaches in all my Harvestmen enclosures. Springtails, they do tend to wipe out. I have to keep replenishing those, but that's fine for me because I have a million roach cultures that have literally thousands of springtails per culture. So like I have to cull the springtails in a lot of my roach enclosures to stop them from stressing the roaches out. So it's like, okay, now I have a garbage can basically that I can dump springtails into, and they'll be cleaned out in a week. So yeah. So
that's so wild, and that's separating them from the microroaches. Has to be a fun endeavor, right?
Oh yeah. Well, the microroaches thankfully usually outcompete the springtails. It's more like my hissers and stuff that the springtails go crazy in. It's like, oh god, the bark is moving. That's a bad sign.
That makes it easy to take them out because they're always all over the bark, and you just kind of
you
knock
just
it off
slap it. Yep.
Done, and then you've got that bouncing dust. So I love them. I just love springtails too, but because they're so easy. Every one of my isopod bins is a carpet almost. Springtails right now. So, and my ants pick them off, so I kind of dump them. That's my garbage bin, right?
There you go. See, we all have to have a garbage bin.
I love the idea that you can just keep microroaches in there with them, and they'll just keep breeding out food.
Yeah, it's nice. Makes it pretty convenient, pretty easy.
That seems really cool. And so we're getting questions in here about the microroaches. So what was the species name that you gave me earlier?
Microroaches, Compsodius schwartzi. Schwartz's hooded microroach or Schwartz's microroach. Those are the best microfeeder species in the hobby, in my opinion. They're the second smallest roach in the hobby. The smallest roach in the hobby is Nocticola species Malaysia, which are parthenogenetic yet breed, in my experience, a lot slower than the Compsodies do, and are also more finicky. overall. So ironically, those do the best in my Harvestmen enclosures. Like I've given up on culturing the Nocticola by themselves because like my springtails keep wiping them out, which Compsodis don't have a problem. I think Compsodis probably eat springtails with how freaking voracious they are, but the Nocticola get really stressed out by springtails. But my Harvestmen keep eating all their springtails, so the Nocticola are actually getting like really good head starts in all my Harvestmen enclosures. Especially since the Harvestmen leave like the larger Nocticola alone. So it's like, yeah. So my Harvestmen enclosures are now also my main Nocticola bins. So it's funny how that works out.
That's funny. That is a weird ecosystem thing.
Yeah.
So now the adult roaches, you're saying the adult micro roaches eat springtails, or they outcompete them?
The Compsodis, I'm pretty sure they outcompete the springtails, and they may literally eat them. I don't know, but they definitely outcompete them after a while. So the springtails and Compsodis mix fine. You're just gonna run out of springtails eventually if you put springtails in with Compsodis. Whereas springtails and Nocticola don't mix that well. You will have more springtails than Nocticola. So,
which is not the goal.
No, that's not the goal. Yeah.
Keep them separate.
Exactly.
Now the micro roaches, in my experience, like the ones that you're talking about, Schwartz's, because I've had those. They're like 2 or 3 millimeters. I think the adults. They're really small.
They're like I think they max out like 5-6 millimeters. Yeah, so really small. And they hatch out at like 1 millimeter. So yeah, they're tiny. They're absolutely tiny.
Yeah, they're little bitty. I don't even remember being able to see the babies, but
yeah, they look like springtails, the babies.
Okay, that's probably why
really
I had them with springtails. Yeah, they're itty bitty. So I was pretty surprised at how small they were, and they don't really climb clean glass. I saw too.
Only adult males can. The rest of the life stages can't climb. Yeah, so that's nice.
Keep them secure, guys.
Yeah.
So back to our regular guys. Now the Harvestmen don't really climb glass either, right?
Most of them can't. No, there might be some species that do, but no, most of them can't climb smooth surfaces. But
yeah, and I think keeping them with less ventilation, you're not really going to have a problem with them getting out. Like too laggy, too awkward. So that's kind of cool. I like the idea that. So now, do you keep yours? What size of a bin are you talking? Do you have one? You said you have one for us to look at, or is it just like a display thing?
I keep them in just like I just keep them in tubs. I keep everything I have in tubs. I don't have display tanks. I don't got the room for that.
Sure.
But yeah, I keep them usually in like a gallon bin per species. My cultures aren't like the biggest, if you really want like an enormous culture, get like a 5-gallon bin or something, which I might move my Ornatus to something that big eventually, because kind of want to pump as many babies out of those as possible. But for now, I'm just keeping everything in gallon enclosures, and if they need to be split, I'll just make, second enclosures for all of them. But so lately they, when I have them available, they sell out faster than I need to split the cultures. So it's like, okay, this is working. But
that's something. You're doing something right.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, they don't need a ton of space, but the more space you have, the more Harvestmen you'll have, basically, because more space and hides they have, the more you can keep together without running the risk of, excessive cannibalism. So, yeah.
Right, and they have room to kind of spread out a little bit and feel more secure. I feel like when they feel, and this is just a general invertebrate thing, when they feel more secure, like there's not going to be predation on the babies or the eggs, they're more productive. So, exactly. That's my experience with them. And even in like a gallon enclosure, you want to make sure they have a lot of hides that are too small for adults that the babies can hide in, so they're safe, and hides for the adults as well, because you don't want the adults to start killing each other if there's not enough room, which they can do. Usually don't, but they can. So yeah, just lots of hides. So sad.
And they'll be fine.
Sad.
Yeah.
So crazy.
Yeah.
Every time I go to buy them from anybody, so you and Bugs in Cyberspace and Pete over there is great. He's got them sometimes. And then Rachel from Pet Pete's and Pods are the 3 that I know of. Yeah. And you were saying Justin Toole has them too?
Yeah, Jeremiah Toole in
Jeremiah Toole, I'm sorry.
Yeah. He's in Canada. I don't think he sells to the US, but might sell to other Canadians. I'm pretty sure Harvestmen are legal to distribute there.
Canadians, if you're
these are
listening,
arachnids. Yeah, go hit up Jeremiah Tool.
I know there's 2 of you, so
Yeah.
check them out. And I know that you're both men, age 45
Yep,
and
age
55.
45. Yep.
I can't say Jeremiah
Yep.
is, but yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, so he's in Canada. I didn't realize that because I've seen his photos and all his stuff looks really cool.
Yeah.
But every time I go to look for them, they're sold out. So that's kind of a cool thing. Or they don't ship. They're delicate to ship, so that's hard.
Yeah, they're not that hard to ship. They're pretty resilient, especially if you give them enough ventilation during shipping. The main issue is most people don't breed the Harvestmen that they sell, right? Not that many people breeding Harvestmen.
Okay.
Yeah, so most people they either catch a bunch themselves or they have suppliers. Like Buggins Cyberspace has suppliers that catch stuff for him,
Sure.
And then he resells them. But so most of the time, most Harvestmen you're going to see right now on the market are wild caught. So it's kind of seasonal, spring, summer, usually there's a bunch available. Then fall and winter, it kind of dies down a bit. But if you get them from if you get captive bred ones, they're available basically year round when people have them available, So it's like you got to wait for someone to have a decent clutch come out and then you can get captive bred ones, which I always recommend over wild caught just because, they're captive bred, that they're healthy, free of any, parasites, any pathogens. Wild caught adults could be, on death's door for all you know, whereas captive bred juveniles are going to be, more resilient and live longer.
Sure.
So
you know what you're getting. Yeah,
exactly.
So that's kind of cool. Now with molting, did they do a hang molt as well, with like a lot of insects?
Some species do the hang molts. I think Venoni's or Libidioides, I'm pretty sure they can molt just straight off the ground. I rarely see them molt. They're very secretive about that. They're very secretive about molting, mating, egg laying. I've never seen any of that. And I check on them pretty frequently. But yeah, they do that.
Display box. What the hell?
Yeah. That's the problem. No, even in a display box, they're always hiding though. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like I'm a very display guy because I want to watch. I want to sit and watch it and try to see behaviors. I don't know that I've ever seen, besides isopods, like seen mating or something like that. I have seen egg laying in ants, but that was early stages. Sheila's in a 30-gallon open top now, so I don't see her anymore.
No.
But I love to see those things happen. Like I'm an aquarist first is where I came from.
Okay.
And I say aquarist, but I'm a jerk that kept stuff in a tank until it died. So increasingly better at it. But yeah. So I like to see that. I like to see that clear. I don't have it. I have tubs. I'm not dumping on tubs.
Yeah.
But I feel like I would have, and this is not advice for you, but anybody who might be wanting to get them and see that, you could probably keep them in a pretty small container. Like they don't need a lot of height, right?
No, most don't. So yeah,
they're mostly ground dwellers, so you can keep them in a small, like something you get from Michael's.
Walmart
even.
Some sort of acrylic,
or a small glass thing that you can seal without too much trouble. So I can't reach it. I have something that I would use up here. I can't reach it to bring it down, but because I didn't think of it. But anything really that they could not going to get out of, and that's got a good seal on it for that humidity. Definitely. So, but tubs, again, tubs are great. If you want to really get into that, you probably need something where you can just sit and watch them. As still as possible. So, which we're nerds. That's what we do. So we're the new nerds, guys. So see, if you're a Dungeons and Dragons guy, you could talk about that anywhere in the world now. And not get beat up or
exactly.
People will ask you questions like, oh man, you talk about I keep daddy long legs, you're gonna get
what? You keep bugs? What?
Yeah, you keep them alive in your house on purpose.
Yeah. Why? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, I'm gonna go over here and run. It's gonna look like running from you, but
yes,
I am.
I'm running towards someone else. I haven't seen them in a while, so sorry.
Yeah, every single one of my coworkers now is like, "Oh, you have a YouTube channel? What's it about?" And I'm like, "You wouldn't like it." And I just tell them immediately, like, "It's not for you." And they're like, "Oh, what is it?" I'm like, "It's bugs and lizards and snakes." And they're like, I have stuff to do over here.
Yeah.
Told you.
Told you.
I wish you would just listen to me.
Yeah.
Sandy says someone was asking about like lifespan for different. I'm assuming it's a
Ah,
little different, but not
so
crazy, right?
it depends. So, excuse me.
Sure.
So, like most of the Cosmetidae, the armored harvestmen, most of them live like around a year at least as adults, maybe longer for some species. But so they're like that's like the high end of harvestman lifespan right there.
Okay.
Whereas most of the like softer bodied legged ones, which I really wish I knew the general family name for them. But like the very common harvestmen that you're gonna find in your backyard and groups closely related to those usually are more seasonal. Yeah, adults that live like through fall and winter or through summer and spring, and then they die off. And then the rest of those months it's just juveniles. And then, they're very cyclical, seasonal lifespans. So yeah, like my Umesosoma, the black velvets, I'm pretty sure they lived like 6 months as adults, which is decent for harvestmen.
As adults, that's they're growing still.
Yeah,
that's what I hate about mantises or any insect. Really, is the longevity is not there.
Not super long. Yeah. But the one thing harvestmen do have going for them, even the shorter lived ones, is the nymphs, the not nymphs, the harvestlings or whatever. They harvestlings, they grow very fast usually. So
okay. So it's not like
it doesn't take that long to it doesn't take long for them to go from itty bitty to like, oh wow, that's like almost an adult already. So yeah.
Okay.
That's nice. Makes up for the shorter lived adults.
That's super cool.
And the fact that you're keeping them basically as a colony, usually it makes it, not as big a deal if the adults die that fast. It's like, okay, well, these adults died, but I have more on the way, so it's renewable. Yeah,
that's what's like keeping a lot of bugs. If you have them like a colony situation. So otherwise, it's hard. Like we were talking about mantises earlier, and you've got to keep the babies. And little deli cups. And then bigger deli cups. And it gets real stupid.
Yeah, I ain't got time for that. I like colony cultures are the best.
Right. I always want to keep things together. I'm always trying, and some things it just doesn't, and you can't really force it. And it's I can't get that through my head. I'm like, I can do it. I know no one's done it in the history of Earth.
I'm
gonna crack the code. And then you have one dominant animal left, and you're like, I was close.
I didn't crack the code. Almost though.
Not quite.
Yeah, next time I'll try again.
Right. Like I don't know how these people have these giant multi-species crazy vivariums or whatever. That it's like how do you
keep that in balance? Yeah, I can't.
No. Like I was saying, my ant colony just destroys any other thing that I try to put in there. Or eventually they did. So that's not the case with these guys though. But you wouldn't really habitate these with anything though, would you? They would basically be prey.
Yeah, not really. Like if you keep them with things that are too small, they're going to be eating them a little bit. They don't wipe out the microaches I house with them. So, the microaches have a kind of self-sustaining population within their enclosures. So I guess those house with them pretty well. But springtails, they tend to wipe out after a while. And then anything bigger, I feel like you don't want to stress the harvestmen either. Like if I kept like large roaches with these, I feel like they'd trample the harvestmen to a degree, especially if they're breeding in there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, or even like eat, too much of their prey food as well. Because harvestmen, a lot of harvestmen do also, I forgot to mention, appreciate a little bit of fruit in their diet. I feed mine fruit, and I often see the adults like nibbling at it. I don't know if it's just for moisture or if they actually enjoy like sweeter stuff every now and then, but they do eat that. But like if I were keeping like a ton of like hungry big roaches in with them, the roaches would eat the fruit long before the harvestmen would. So
would you did you start doing that, giving the fruit for the roaches that are living there? Or
no, I just started because people before me had given fruit and stuff to their harvestmen, and they nibble at it.
Okay.
So I like to provide mine with as varied a diet as possible. They supposedly also nibble on some vegetables, but like mine don't. So I just stopped trying with them. Yeah, mine are fine with just the fruits and the insects and maybe a little.
That's my diet.
Pellet now and then. Yeah,
I get that. That's my diet.
Yeah.
I feel like if they had a self-sustaining food source, though, I wouldn't even bother with the fish food. Well, I guess for certain minerals and vitamins, maybe.
And
to
two,
make
with
sure that's
the
happening.
yeah, and like the adults, when they eat all the baby microaches and there's no microaches left, or if there's like a lull in the you've thrown
Oh,
in
sure.
springtails in there too, it's nice to have just like a different protein source available for them in case they run out of the live prey, just to keep them occupied for at least a little bit.
Yeah,
And
then the
then
roaches are going to eat
yeah,
that
and then the
too.
roaches eat that as well. Yeah, yep.
That's kind of cool that they turn into scavengers
Yeah,
at some
yeah,
point,
exactly.
or just decide to, right? It's something different.
Yeah.
So,
But
like, if I see one more micro roach on the plate,
yes,
I'm gonna
I'm
lose my mind.
gonna throw up. Give me something different. Yeah. But yeah,
I'm just mad about it.
yeah. So I probably wouldn't house much with Harvestmen. Anything bigger than them might stress or harm them, and then most things smaller than them are just food. And definitely not isopods. Isopods will eat their eggs. Don't do that. Don't do
Eggs,
that.
legs, whatever they can find.
Yep,
Yeah, don't.
exactly. Yeah, molting harvestmen are on the menu for them as well. Yeah, just don't put isopods in.
I put mine with isopods and springtails, and it was only a
Mhm.
couple isopods.
Mhm.
And I told Rachel about it. That's who I got mine from, and she was
Mhm.
like, "No, get them out of
Don't
there
do it.
right now!"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh God!" Like I ran into the room. I literally ran downstairs to get it.
It's an
and was like,
emergency.
Yep, I was like fishing them out. Like
Mhm.
I literally ran downstairs. My wife's like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "I gotta do something right now." So
Gotta save my daddy long legs.
yeah, I had four. That I was like fishing them out.
Yeah.
So then breeding, is there dimorphism, or you can't really tell?
Some species are dimorphic. Most Cosmetidae, most armored harvestmen, are not that dimorphic. Some of like the Central American species have like the males have like really exaggerated spiny back legs and the females don't. So that makes it easy, but like most of the US species are not that dimorphic. It's pretty much like I can't sex the libidioides I have to save my life. I have no idea which ones are males, which ones are females.
It would be like a microscope situation or something, right?
Yeah. But yeah, so most of them aren't that dimorphic, but some have very slight leg dimorphism, like with males having like longer legs and females having shorter legs. Some species, the pulps are a bit bigger on males, smaller on females, but yeah, in the most cases, it's a very subtle dimorphism, if there is any dimorphism at all.
It's so not fair with all these insects. It's
I
crazy.
know, but at least with these, you can keep them communally. So it's like you get a large enough group together, and it's like hopefully there's males and females. Hopefully,
that's where a half dozen might do you well. So
yeah,
I'm against the 6-pack of isopods, but I feel like a 6-pack of these guys is pretty good.
Yeah. I always sell them in 8-packs at least with the harvest.
Okay,
just to be safe. Plus freebies, so
Nice freebies are always good. Always good. I haven't got any freebies in a while.
Really?
In any orders?
Yeah.
Not the last few orders I've done, which they've been spread apart, but too much stuff going on in my life. Now I've seen prices too. I'm not asking you your prices, but I've seen prices for these just wildly differing all over the spectrum. So
because like wild caught versus captive bred, different people catching them are going to charge different prices for them. Different species are more expensive than others as well. So yeah, it's the prices like all over the place.
Yeah, I was talking just even in Ornatus, it was crazy. And like you're saying, I didn't check to see who was captive bred. Mine I bought were captive bred. And I was like, the price I paid was like middle of the road. And again, if you haven't been watching, it was from Rachel at Pet Peds and Pods, who is awesome, highly recommended. And the price was like in the middle of the road, but I knew what I was getting. Like I felt confident buying from her. So, but again, I didn't even think to think, because I didn't realize they were in America. I didn't realize they were local.
Oh yeah. The Ornatus are, I think Ornatus are only found in Florida. And then everything outside of Florida is either Sei or the new species Albolineata or whatever. But yeah, so yeah, I usually do like 40, 45, maybe even 50 per starter culture of Harvestmen, depending on the species. I'm probably on the lower end of the range there. Some people charge more than that. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys.
Yeah. A lot of people do like $10 each, and it's like maybe like for adults, maybe, but I usually do like mixed juveniles. So which in my opinion are better to start within adults anyways. Like juveniles of
Guys.
anything are usually more resilient to shipping stress, and if something happens to them during shipping, they can like kind of recover from it. Whereas adults, it's like, I lost all my legs during shipping, and those aren't growing back. Stuff
that's
like
no
that.
good.
Yeah,
Especially, you get a little disc. I got a little disc in the mail. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, yeah.
Let's
God,
do it in Harvestmen. We played tiny air hockey.
Yes. Flick it.
So yeah, guys, there won't be a discount code for the invertebrate dude, but there'll be a link.
Yeah.
So you're getting enough of a discount. Believe that is a great price. So keep doing what you're doing. And that's not a bug that I think everybody who buys them is going to become a seller.
No.
There are a lot of hobbies. Like I said, my bases. I started this with isopods in mind, but isopods and springtails are like everyone who gets them is a breeder.
Sells them. Yeah, exactly.
As soon as you lock in like how to keep them, you're good to go, and it doesn't take that much to learn.
Trial and error. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and if you buy them from the right people, they'll literally tell you how to breed them and what to do perfectly. Which is good. Like keep that up if you're doing that. But because if you want to put the work in, by all means be a seller. But it is, in all the experience that I've had, is most of the time not worth it, guys. So enjoy your pets. Enjoy your pets. Maybe sell some if you have.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If you wind up getting like an overstock or something, like go ahead. Well, sorry.
Yeah. Good way to cull cultures, but getting into this for the money is not, wise probably.
It's a lot more work.
A lot more work, and also it takes the fun out of it too. I've seen so many people come and go from this hobby that got into it for it to be a business and then just got burnt out so fast. So like for me, it's hobby first, and then money, later.
As long as it sustains your hobby, that's what you want to look for. Is like, or it sustains your hobbies. In my case, like, I've had people recently tell me to cut some back, but there's no, it's not happening. I'm kind of addicted to hobbies. So it's like that shiny thing. What's this? Oh, now I'm going to collect dog treats.
Yep. The magpie mentality.
Exactly.
That's what I call it.
But I'm like 7 magpies in one.
Yeah.
So
7 magpies under a trench coat.
Yes, just stacked up.
Yeah.
I'm the leg magpie.
Yeah.
The leg pie. Speaking of legs, so they're arachnids, but they have one body segment. That's the difference with them, right? It's just one.
Yes, it is technically 2 fused into one. It's weird.
Okay.
But it's like the I don't even know I think cephalothorax is like the front part, and then the abdomen. I don't really know. I don't know the technical terms for Harvestmen anatomy yet, but it's one. It looks like just one segment, so that's how you can like tell the difference between them and spiders. And there are spiders that people call daddy long legs, the little cellar spiders.
Oh yeah,
Most people have them in their house, and
I have one in my ant colony.
At
the edge, he gets an ant once a week.
Yeah. And so people call those and Harvestmen daddy long legs. So it's like that's where the confusion of the common names comes in. It's like, okay, well, is this you say daddy long legs? Are you talking about the spider? Or are you talking about the Harvestmen? They're 2 very different things.
I feel like hobbyists. No, and if someone told me like
obvious,
their basement, if my mom told me her basement was full of daddy long legs, I'd be like,
and you're like, okay, cellar spiders, yep.
Yeah, you're not. Sorry, mom, that's not the case.
Yes.
So, I get that call. She has giant spiders that are this big.
Yeah.
So
giant, definitely giant. Yeah.
So her basement's a death zone for anything.
Yeah.
But which is sad. Yeah, you don't get any of these in your house. If you have these in your house, you have a hole in your wall and need to get that checked. Right,
you might live in a hut if you have Harvestmen come into your house.
A hut or a what's the thing? Yurt. The yurt.
The yurt. Yeah. A tent. Yeah.
No, and if you let them live there.
Yeah.
Just have the they'll keep the springtails out of you.
Yep. You keep them out of your hair. Yeah.
They'll keep your micro roach colonies down.
Yeah.
Infestation.
Yeah.
I wonder if they would eat like bed bugs or whatever.
Maybe.
Curious.
I mean, like
Curious.
tiny nymph bed bugs, probably.
Yeah, I know, but that would be a population control.
Yeah.
Not that I need it, but I'm just thinking.
No.
I don't know why bed bugs came to mind. I've been thinking about them a lot lately for
Oh
some
no.
reason. There was a news thing that some guy got eaten in a prison cell by
I
bed
saw
bugs.
that. Yeah.
And
I
I
don't
was
believe
like,
that. No, he died and then they ate him or were
yeah, or
eating
they
him when
found
he
them
was
on
dying.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
No, they don't get
believe he
eaten
was
by
getting
bed bugs. Yeah.
fed on, but it didn't die from bed bugs.
Yeah.
There's no.
That'd be really scary if it was like a new like species evolved from the bed bugs we have that like kill people, suck them
That's a
dry.
movie. I'm not trying to laugh at this poor guy.
Yes.
I'm laughing at the thought that they think bed bugs ate him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that would be a scary movie. That
Get on it, Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah, I need to pull up that. I do need to do a treatment of that.
Ask me for the rights. Yeah.
Right, we thought of it here first.
Yes. ISO Buddies stream.
Trademark, copyright. We got this. We got this. TMCR.
Yeah.
And then next, Daddy Long Legs.
Yes, Daddy Long Legs.
Just some huge. You can barely see the body up there. The legs are so long.
Yeah.
It just drops down and snatches someone.
Yeah.
Now, are the species that you keep, are they the ones also that are so venomous they could kill a man if they could bite through the skin?
Yes, all Harvestmen come equipped with completely fatal venom. One drop is enough to kill like 10 people, 10 fully grown, men aged 45 to 50.
Oh, guys, we're in trouble.
Yeah, watch out, streamers. No. Harvestmen actually completely lack venom. They don't have any venom glands whatsoever. They just got the little chewing mouth parts. That's it. Now, Daddy Long. Yeah, chelicerae. Yep. There's the
look at that,
proper
guys.
term.
I did
it. The daddy long leg spiders, the cellar spiders, those actually do have venom, but it's extremely mild, and their fangs are too short to pierce most people's skin. But their venom is nothing. And then Harvestmen actually completely lack venom, and I don't think they bite either. I've never heard of anyone getting bit by one. Their chelicerae are so small, they eat tiny things like springtails. I don't think they just rely on like dropping their legs for people to let go of them.
I feel like if you sat perfectly still and someone dumped them onto you in a dark room,
they might start nibbling.
Dead skin, kind of like the dead skin thing,
I have roaches do that all the time. Yeah.
Okay. That could be a new therapeutic thing.
Yeah.
Stick your feet in a bucket of roaches and just.
It's like with like the little. Yeah. Like the fish that do that, the nibbling the dead skin off your feet. Yeah. Roaches definitely do that.
I hear that's really wild.
Yeah.
I spread that thing to my family a while ago. Like I thought that was a thing a long time ago.
Oh, the venom,
the venom thing. I believed that whatever. It was when the internet was young that went viral. Basically, it was like one of the first things to go viral because people were like shitting their pants about daddy long legs.
Yeah. Like, oh my god, there's something so dangerous living in my house, but it just doesn't have the means to kill me.
It can't pierce my skin, but what if I have a cut?
Yes. It's like,
you're dead.
No. Yeah.
You're dead, man. It's going to come right at you.
Yeah. No.
It's not good.
Thankfully, not true. That'd be scary if it was.
It would be scary, but not. I still feel like if you can't get away from a daddy long legs, you deserve to die. Just maybe not die, but
from here, right here, he said it. ISO Buddy said it. And anyone who can't escape a daddy long legs deserves to die. That's right here. You heard it from the mouth.
Even if you had no arms and no legs, I think you could get away from a daddy long legs. You just roll.
You just roll.
You'd be fine, or roll over.
Yeah.
How about that? If you can't defend yourself from a daddy long legs in any way, are you really an organism? Really?
Yeah.
How do you chew your food?
Jesus.
Just applesauce every day.
Yeah.
See, you didn't know we were going to get this far off topic.
No.
Did you? Like the deadliness.
No. I mean, yeah. I did read the description of the video beforehand, so I figured we'd hit this topic.
Good.
Yeah.
It was in there. Yeah. See, here's my problem: is I write stuff like that, and I go, "That's funny." And then
Yes,
I
I'm gonna
completely
use
forget
that.
it.
Oh no,
Yeah.
you forget it. Okay.
It completely is gone. So
Yeah.
What was it that you said something? I forget what it was. I was going to use something against you.
Oh,
I
no.
did reread it before the episode, and then I was like,
Yeah.
something about juice or something. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
pretty dirty. If I was going to use it against you, it'd be a little too dirty. We have a 9-year-old that watches the show sometimes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, can't get too raunchy.
We still do.
Yeah, we still do.
We still do. Sorry.
Yeah.
All of my videos are specifically labeled not for kids. So
Yeah.
Whatever. That way I can say what I want.
Yeah.
So what is this? I know some acariform mites are detritivores too. Oh, they're off on mites. Okay.
Mm.
I wonder if they would eat mites. Like if you had any of the mites in your colony that they would eat them.
Species of mite. They definitely don't eat aurabated mites because I have tons of those in several of my Harvestmen enclosures.
Is that like soil mites? Is that
kind of like the little red shiny ones? Yeah, the dark brown or dark red, like they look glossy and they're really like hard bodied. Okay. Those are like all my invertebrate cultures at this point. Grain mites, I haven't had grain mites be a problem in my Harvestmen bins, but I don't know if that's because they're eating them or just because there's really nothing for them to eat in there. I'm not sure, but yeah, they might eat some mites, possibly, especially like the babies probably could, but not to a level where I would like consider using them as pest control or anything.
Right.
Probably.
I don't know why my head went to like different mites like that other invertebrates get, but anything you put them with that they would eat the mites, that thing would eat them.
Probably, or yeah.
Or stress them out or damage them or whatever. So
exactly.
It doesn't make sense. So my brain went right to it, and then I was like, "You're an idiot." Just
no.
Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah, what are you thinking? Yeah.
I'm not usually.
Yeah, same.
Right. So they're not good climbers. They don't really they're more ground dwelling. Are there any species that you keep that you see are more, I don't want to say arboreal, but prefer?
Like most of the,
to go stacked at
most
all,
of the ones with like the really long legs that you find in your backyard, those species tend to be more arboreal. Like you'll often see them even like climbing foliage and stuff. Whereas species with shorter, thicker legs, you can kind of tell those ones are more ground dwelling. So, but yeah, so there are some that I would consider more arboreal, need more vertical space. So yeah, and those ones probably also need more ventilation than ones that are ground dwelling as well. It's normally how it works. Yeah.
So, arboreal, you don't need it as much because you're not going to get it as much.
Yeah.
So I'm getting itchy talking about mites. Just like get it off me.
We already have mites in our skin. We all
know, and I feel like mine get overpopulated sometimes. Get mad, just pull out my eyelashes and throw them.
Yeah.
Freeloaders.
Get out of here. What do you do for me? Probably
a lot. Venom that would kill me.
Yeah.
So there's not that many that fluoresce. You're not keeping them. Like they're hard to. They hide a lot, so they remind me of tiny tailless whip scorpions in that sense. Like,
that's basically what they are. They're kind of like tiny tailless whip scorpions that are more. They move around more than whip scorpions do. At least I feel like whip scorpions, they just stick to the bark you give them, and that's it. Whereas the Harvestmen, they're a little bit more active than that. They hide under the bark, but then they also roam the substrate. At night, they come out, to feed and stuff. So
So
a little bit more.
Like them would be cool to see them, but other than that, no.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Like you don't cohabit with anything because it's going to stress them out too much.
Yeah.
Is there feeding? Do they just drop down on their prey, basically?
I think they just like run after it and grab it.
Oh, okay. So it's an active.
Yeah, it's more of an active thing. Yeah, they just kind of like they're on the same level as the prey and they just grab it.
Well, let's see some. You brought a camera.
Let's see some.
And we
took
the time to set it up. I'm gonna get it all set up so we can actually see what it sees.
Yeah, let me.
You guys want to see animals, right? You guys want to actually see the animals, not just us.
Let me get a backdrop for this. That's not pitch black.
I
Riveting
like that.
content. I know. Look at this.
No, hey, that's the
Nice
show,
one.
man. We just
Yeah.
keep doing it.
Okay. Da-da-da. And there we go.
Is that a handy carrying case? Oh, that's your charger or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, this is a very basic
Can I
setup.
put? Yeah, this is how I keep all mine. Oh, dang it! I can't. There's no. Seriously, there's no freaking.
You can't do like a macro.
I can't do. I can't do macro. And I can't do freaking flashlight.
Oh,
Well, shoot. I can't see. You can't see shit. Hold on. I do have a flashlight. I can actually just shine on it, I guess.
We might be able to see it from the side, like through the plastic, maybe?
Yeah. Not really.
Okay.
This is a bit of a mess here.
No, it's okay. It's my job to do the show. You're a guest, so put a leaf in there, dude.
Yeah. No, wow, you really can't see anything. Yeah.
Oh, now it's doing some wild.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
With the flashlight. He's really upset about that light, too. He's like,
yeah, it does not like it. No, yeah. Why is it? Yeah, there's like bars going across the screen. I don't know what that is.
That's weird. It's like you put a magnet up to your TV. Well, you guys don't know what that means, but well, you can kind of see better.
Kind of see a little. Yeah, no, this isn't. Dang it. Yeah.
Put that flashlight on from the side, like on the side of the cup, maybe. Yeah. Is that better?
It's a little bit. It's not doing that.
You don't see the bars
anymore. Yeah. Yeah, but it really needs more light coming from above, and I don't have that.
Yeah.
Dim lit room. Oh well, that kind of sucks.
Well, guys, you can Google some images.
Google some images. We tried.
Now it's just gonna be TJ. So let's put TJ up as. Yeah. And now he's hosting. Okay.
This is the invertebrate dude show.
It should be. Put a leaf in there, dude.
That's No, that's its setup. I keep them completely bare bottom, no food. They get all the food they need from like oxygen. They photosynthesis. Just put them in the sun.
We didn't see the micro roaches. I told you guys they're small.
Yeah.
There's like 1,000 of them in that little cup.
Yeah.
That's too funny.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess no showing them off. I maybe probably can see it better if I just hold it up to this camera, to be honest. There it is.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So this is Venoni Sei. Yeah, they can run when they need to, but for the most part, there's not like bolting across my hand or anything.
No, I think he's just looking for a dark place to be.
And then it fell on the keyboard.
Of course.
There you go. That's the bug show, everybody.
All right, guys, have a good night.
Yep. See ya. Yeah.
Keep the dead skin cells from the air. Oh, yep. Dust.
Mm-hmm.
Dust.
Yep.
Perfect.
Main food source for Harvestmen is dust.
You don't realize how much dust you create as a human until you get a house. So then you know.
Yeah.
All my dust is in the bathroom, apparently. So I need to get some ornatus to get in there and chomp that down.
Yeah, exactly.
I love how you can't say ornatus either because it's every kind of animal has an ornatus.
Yeah.
In it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't fly. You have to.
Yeah.
I really need to learn that first part.
Yeah. Libidioides used to be simpler. Venoni is simpler to spell, but now it's libidioides. It's like LIBITIODES. Yeah. It's so recent.
Such a recent change. Was
that
like
it happened.
Last year or two?
It happened last year. There was a revision. I just learned about it a couple months ago. I saw someone labeling them as libidioides ornata in like a Harvestmen group on Facebook, and I was like, "What? When did this happen? Since when?"
I feel like because it's all happened in the last couple of years. I feel like all the people in charge of that had nothing else to do during COVID.
Yeah.
And we're like, we're just gonna knock this out, man. We're gonna work from home, bring our colonies home.
It was a revision of the entire Cosmetidae as well. So they really had nothing to do over the pandemic.
It has been wild the last few years. I can't believe it because a lot of like even reptiles. Like there's been who did we just talk to? Somebody was doing snakes or reptiles where they were totally recategorized. Just a couple major species, and it was like, what?
Wow.
They didn't know that about snakes? Like
yeah. That's cool though.
yeah, so it was wild to see that, and
Yeah.
just to see that that's changing so
Mhm.
much. So I'm
Yeah.
not super surprised that it changed, because I think I remember Venones when I got him from Rachel. That was
Mhm.
like 3
Yeah.
years ago, roughly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it would have still been Venones.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
it's Libidibidabo.
Yeah.
Or not.
Libbity dibbity or not as yeah.
That's for our Vietnamese viewers. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Probably just cursed out their entire families in Vietnamese by accident.
I didn't find out about my Vietnamese viewers until I saw who was watching with closed
Yeah.
captioning.
Yeah.
And 4% are watching it in Vietnamese. So
That's cool.
that's
Yeah,
something.
it kind of makes sense though, because there's a lot of isopod hobbyists in Vietnam. So
That's weird though that they would watch.
yeah.
4% of my viewers. Yeah, like I just wonder how it translates. I want to try to watch it and then retranslate it and see.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't translate into English very well.
No.
Usually. So,
Yeah. So
yeah, if you guys are watching this tomorrow, turn on closed caption and try to read it, because it's funny.
You gotta hire like an editor to put out Vietnamese subtitles for your dead streams.
I don't remember what this was for, but Jedi Monkey always holds me. He remembers this, and I don't. I remember saying it, but I don't remember it until he posts it up.
Kikomorphous. What?
Rabambasham.
Rabambasham.
Rabambasham. I believe that was during an episode with Russ.
Mhm.
Russ Wilson. Because he does so much Latin. So that's how it comes about. So I'm not the Latin guy. I just don't take the time. It's barely, unless that's all you know, it's barely in my vocabulary whatsoever.
I prefer Latin just because there's so many things that a common name can apply to multiple different things. It's like I want to know for sure.
Like we just said, and like if you're going to breed them and sell them and be like, like you said, you're not really an expert, but you've kind of become considered one by people.
Yeah, apparently
you're more expert than most. So than most people keeping. Yeah, and that's not even just my opinion. I mean, you've been keeping them over a year. You obviously have successful cultures. You know what you're doing. You're an expert compared to the average keeper, even if that's the case. So, yeah, I use the word expert a little bit loosely.
Yeah. Expert. I prefer a term I can't remember. Enthusiastic amateur or something like that.
An enthusiast.
Yes.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. Enthusiastic amateur. I like that. I'm going to use that. I'm going to steal that a little bit. So we can TMCR a bunch of stuff tonight. So what could we have it be? Cocaine bed bugs? Cocaine bed bugs. Would that be the movie?
Yes. Bed bugs on cocaine. Bed bugs on crack.
It was the Millipede episode. I said Gigamorphous Rambamisham. Okay.
Gigamorphous.
All right. I don't know if Justin wrote that down or what, but he's used it on me every episode. I'd say
every episode since.
Because every episode I say I don't know Latin. Because every episode the expert comes in with all this Latin. And I just don't. I like that some of the Latin you can know right away, like ornate, obviously, is ornatus. So you're looking at something that's like pretty or prettier than normal, right?
Exactly.
Or ornate. Ornate doesn't necessarily mean pretty, but it has like the cool markings.
A lot of markings, ornate patterning usually.
Yes, which I really like the patterning on them. We were calling them Mandalorians, my friends and I, when I was showing them, because it kind of looks like the Mandalorian symbol.
That
so
little,
vaguely.
Vaguely. You squint your eyes, you can see it.
Yeah, it's as close as you're going to get in the animal kingdom. So, you know,
basically.
Fine.
Fine.
And again, you could be a Star Wars nerd all over the place, and it's fine. People want to talk about it with you.
Yeah.
I mentioned Mandalorian.
Harvestmen,
but no. Daddy Longlegs?
Yes.
Why would you keep those in your house?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I have so many of those in my basement. Aren't those the ones that can kill you?
Absolutely. I'm surprised they haven't yet. They just come upstairs.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. How it is. So they are just so cool. Now, what's the temperature range you're keeping them at? Like a room temperature, like 70s?
Yeah, most of them I just keep at room temperature. I do keep most of my armored Harvestmen a little bit warmer.
Okay.
'Cause, it just not they don't need it warmer, but I think it gets them growing faster and breeding faster. But they'll breed at room temperatures, even like 75, to 72 probably be fine for them. Some species like the Eumesosoma that I have, and some northern strains of like Libidioides sei, will require a winter diapause. So you got to drop the temperature in the winter to induce either breeding or to get them breeding when springtime comes around. They can let them know, okay, this is breeding season.
Okay.
So for that, you just keep them. I, just find the coolest spot in my house. I live in a place with pretty cold winters, Idaho. So,
yeah, sure.
Coolest spot in my house is like usually mid 60s. I just shove them up against the wall, leave them there. Still feed them and stuff, keep them humid during the whole diapause. But that drop in temperature is usually enough to trigger whatever seasonal cues that they need.
Just brings them down a little bit.
Yep. And then the spring comes, put them back into the heat, and bam, they start, doing whatever they would do. So, yeah.
That's cool to know that there's a diapause for them, too.
Yeah. It depends on the species, depends where you get them from, too. But, yeah.
There's not a lot of that outside of, like, in the insect kingdom. I don't think.
See, the thing is, there is a lot of diapause, but people in the hobby never take it into consideration. So you have a lot of species, a lot of temperate species that people will fail with after a generation or two, and be like, "Oh, this is weird. Why'd they die? I guess they're in too much inbreeding, or you got the humidity wrong." And a lot of times, it's just no, you failed to provide seasonal cues, like Hilaria brevicornis, the giant like roly polies in the hobby, giant spots, those. People for a long time since they entered the hobby thought, okay, females only breed once in their life and then they die. That's not the case, especially since a lot of people would have females that reproduce once and then they live for years afterwards and they just don't make more babies. And that doesn't make sense. If something only breeds once in their life, they normally die like right afterwards. But these Hilaria live years afterwards, and it turns out the reason for that is they need a diapause. They need a winter diapause, and those of us who have given them a winter diapause have noticed that the next year, those same females produce more broods. So, but without the diapause, they have no trigger to be like, okay, the season's changed. Now it's time to breed. If you just keep them warm or room temperature year round, they're like, they're like, winters never came. So it's, I can't give birth now because what if winter comes and then my babies have no food, So, yeah. So you need to give them a winter diapause.
So funny.
Yeah. And then you bring them out of that. And then the next year they breed. But yeah, so kind of debunk that myth. And that's just because people didn't give them, the seasonal cues that they need. And it's a temperate species. The stock we have in the hobby comes from France,
Okay.
Yes. And I think basically everywhere you're going to find Hilaria, they would need a diapause. It's pretty, Croatia, I think it gets cold in Croatia as well. So,
I haven't checked, but maybe.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, seasonal cues it's a very overlooked thing in the hobby of invertebrates, and a lot of people fail with things because they failed to provide them those seasonal cues. Like I'm getting a bunch of temperate Chinese roaches in lately, and those a lot of those have been kept multiple times in the past, but died out after the first generation, and it's because no one ever gives them a diapause. And now that we're giving them diapauses, we're seeing, okay, they make it multiple generations in captivity, no problem, as long as you give them that seasonal cue. So yeah, it's a very important thing to look out for. It's another reason why recording locality information for species in entering the hobby is so important, because you can have a species that ranges like from, the northern U.S. versus the southern U.S. And in the northern part of their range, they need a diapause, and in the southern part, they don't, And it's very important to keep track of localities and then look into those localities, look into the weather and, temperatures year round in those places, and then apply that to your care. And not a lot of people do that. A lot of people are lazy, and they're just like, okay, I got these. I'm going to keep them room temperature or warm year round. I don't want to deal with the seasonal changes. And then they lose them after a generation or two because, they need that. But so that's something we're thankfully seeing a lot of people take into account more now when new species enter the hobby. But it's still a very overlooked thing in bug keeping that we need to pay more attention to, because that's the key for a lot of species, is just that winter period. Or I
feel like recently a lot of the guests that I've had on are more serious about, like you're saying, like finding out the locales they were collected in originally, where they're from, so that generation, like what they're hardwired for.
Exactly.
So I didn't think about diapause as that. Like, 'cause, okay, so in the ant hobby, there are definitely like the regions, and that there are ants that the species are. I have Camponotus discolor. Okay, that's Sheila. Okay,
Yeah.
so Sheila, her whole species goes from like mid Canada all the way down to like Mexico, right? So depending on where you collected, the queens is where it's going to be. So I'm in Illinois. I'm in northern Illinois, just south of Chicago. So she doesn't do diapause. So I was expecting her to slow down. I took her off heat. I don't even know where to keep her, like in a fridge or something. A little keepers keep theirs in a low fridge. I don't have that, but I have a cold basement. So I was like, let's take her off heat. She'll be fine.
Good enough. Yeah.
Nope. She just kept plugging along, and I just kept seeing more and more and more, and they were never less active. When it was cold, they tried to escape more to try to find heat.
Trying to get some warmth.
Yeah. They were like, no, this is too cold for me. I'm going to find somewhere else. So I just keep her on heat all year. I just change the amount that she gets. But the diapause for the ants, they'll stop laying, or they'll lay at a certain time, like when winter's coming out. They'll start to lay, so then they have those young ants, that are going to get them through the year. So the diapause ants are much slower growing. So I get that. Like, I get I don't know why it didn't connect to me that other insects would need it. And you mentioned the Hilaria brevicornis. I recently talked to like 2 or 3 people that said they're really hard to get breeding. And to keep them breeding, like to keep the colony growing. They're super slow growing and blah, blah, blah. That's gotta be it. I don't know if I'm going to touch base with them and see if that's the thing, because
we just kind of figured that out like last year, so like it's not super well known yet, but I've been trying to tell as many people as I can that like to keep Hilaria, just give them, it doesn't even need to be that deep of a diapause, just like low 60s is fine. And
keep them cold, like get them cold for a little bit.
And you will get that yearly production, and they have pretty big litters too, so like you get them breeding year after year, and your colonies aren't going to take that long to establish. So we'll see more of them in the hobby once people realize how to.
Good, then I can afford them.
Yeah, I still have a group or 2 of those available right now, because I had more babies than I thought I did.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
I think somebody was quoting me like they never got back to me, but they're like $20 for whatever, and I didn't. I never got clarity if it was one. Or like
probably one.
Count.
No, definitely one, because like people charging like a couple $100s for like 6 or 8 of them. I do 80. Yeah. I do like 85 for 8. I'm like on the very cheap end in terms of iSpot prices, but
and even that's not crazy for iSpots. But that's a nice spot again that drives me crazy because you'll never see it. So.
Those the adults come above ground a little bit at night sometimes, but those are very fossorial. They dig all the time.
I have a cheat code for that if you want to hear about it after the show. But I have a cheat code for that if you want to see display. But you're not that guy. But we'll talk about that another time. I'll do it on another episode. Tennyson Kingsley, how late are you? Guys, you're lucky I don't have mods. Tennyson, we'd kick you right out.
Get him out of here.
Shame on you. I just taught my daughter this. So I taught her to kick a kid at school today. So not a great dad. I'm not a great role model, but there's a kid at her school that beats up all the other kids. She's a preschool. Preschool. And it's every week. Sounds like if he touches you again, you kick him as hard as you can.
Kick him in the face.
I'll come back to school and I'll tell that teacher, like, this is what's up. Yeah.
Teacher had a punch.
I told her to take her shoe off and hit him with her shoe.
Yeah, so. There you go. Yeah. Take the glove off and just slap him.
Right? Defend yourself now.
Yes.
While they're little, make him cry a little bit. He's got to learn.
Teach him.
I wish I was joking about any of this. I'm absolutely not. Dads of girls, teach your daughters violence.
Yes. Teach them how to defend themselves.
Boys will learn.
Learn through their actions.
You're stopping future major problems. Okay?
Exactly. Yeah.
It's your responsibility as a girl dad.
Yep.
So, we've covered everything. So get out there and have some girls, guys. Now that you know the secret. I'm trying to think of other questions for these guys. Is there anything we didn't cover? Do you guys have any questions that I missed or we didn't cover yet? I'll keep TJ talking about something. We'll figure it out.
Someone had asked how many species there are,
I
and
passed by that because I was like,
yeah,
guys, Google
according to I googled it. According to Wikipedia,
Oh,
there's
nice.
over 6,650 species of harvestmen.
So close to Satan's
As
number.
as of April 2017, so it might be up to 666 now. Who knows?
Nice.
Yeah.
I like when numbers get a little kooky like that.
Yeah.
They want you to go to Portland at the expo.
I wish. There's an expo in Idaho I wanted to go to, but I'm not gonna be able to.
See,
Yeah.
guys?
I've never. Yeah. And I've never gone to an expo before, but and there's not many good ones here in Idaho, but
I cannot recommend it enough to make the trip and just go to see people, and you can meet people that you know in the hobby.
Yeah.
Face to face. Like there's something about it.
Yeah, we got Sean Kramer coming up to the show up in Idaho this month. Sean Kramer of U.S. Invertebrates, and he asked me if I was going to be there again. I was like, I can't make it. He's like, dang it. Yeah, that sucks. Not being able to meet up with fellow hobbyists. There's so few bug hobbyists in Idaho. I feel there's just not many.
I feel like it's everywhere local. Like anywhere local that you are, it's hard to find people. And you'll meet up with them. It's funny to see. Do you have like a really good pet store by you? No?
Yeah, Petco and PetSmart. I wouldn't call either of those really good. Yeah.
You can kind of talk to the fish guy a little bit about stuff. He's probably into some weird stuff.
Yeah, probably.
But like we have a couple of good, within an hour, we have a couple of really good pet stores.
Yeah.
And if you go in there, you kind of feel people out, and then you find, oh, you're into this, and then you're both going back and forth about your dumb thing that you're into. Yeah. And you'll wind up talking to some random fellow hobbyist for an hour, and not even you still haven't even picked out whatever you were there for. Yeah. But the energy and the enthusiasm that goes into it is to have that release. Do you know what I mean? To actually have a conversation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So,
like invertebrates, lizards, all reptiles. I always say lizards. I don't know why that's my thing.
Yeah.
Reptiles, whatever exotic animal you keep, like there's just, I'll listen to anything. I'll be the dumb kid in the room at that point and be like, give it to me.
Teach me the
give me that information. Animal Planet's not a thing anymore. Just give me the info.
Yeah, exactly.
In my head, it'll be David Attenborough. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
My kids won't go with me in pet stores anymore because we end up getting stuck while I talk to you.
Lucky.
Menageries down. Yep.
Yeah.
Beetle says you're only 400 miles away.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't have the time to take off work.
It's only 500.
And then go to right.
Round trip, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
I want to visit Portland at some point. Definitely. Not even just for the bugs, but for I'm vegan. There's a lot of vegan shops, vegan bakeries in Portland. It's like, that's nice. Vegan? That sounds yummy.
I'm gonna send you my vegan burger recipe once I get it down.
Nice.
Well, it's kind of I'm making a falafel waffle for an open face sandwich. It's not a burger. Anyway.
Yeah. Close enough. You can call it a burger.
I used to mock vegans, but I don't anymore. So I do a little bit. Yeah.
So, some of them are annoying.
The vegans that want fake meat.
The preacher one, the vegans that want fake meat.
Yeah, they want like, I want to be vegan, but I want to eat a thing that looks and tastes like a burger.
Yeah.
Then why are you vegan then?
Yeah.
I get it.
Because they care.
Animals or whatever.
Yeah. But I mean, might as well get as close as you can to the
That's fair. But the preachy ones, that was the old joke. Like, how can you tell someone? How can you tell someone's a vegan? Don't worry, they'll tell you.
Yeah.
It'll come up.
Yeah. No,
that's cool.
I'm not the preachy. Oh, how dare you eat meat? You're a murderer. No, I don't care what other people do. I'm vegan. That's good enough. You guys do what you want. Yep.
Yeah, as long as you don't go to a barbecue place and start to demand like substitutions.
Exactly.
You go to a place that has 50 kinds of meat, and then can I get some
carrots? Smoked carrots.
Do you have? You guys get coleslaw? Is your mayonnaise vegan?
Yeah. Is your mayonnaise vegan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are there species local to you that are not that are exotic, I guess, that aren't the general soft-bodied?
There are, not in my specific area of Idaho, but there are some Cosmetidae, there are some armored harvestmen in northern Idaho in the more mountainous regions that I really would like to collect. I think there's a species that's endemic to Idaho, actually, or maybe several species. Tiny ones, they're really small, but I like small things. I like small species. So
Yeah, sure.
one day I might go out and make the trip and try to catch some of those, because yeah, it would be cool to have some of those. But
Definitely.
yeah, there's a huge variety of harvestmen in the U.S. Like, there really is. A lot of different body shapes, colors. There's some really colorful species in the Southwest that aren't in culture yet. But yeah, we only have like 5, 6 species of U.S. harvestmen in the hobby, like max. But there's so much variety in the U.S. Hundreds of species in the U.S. alone. So I really would like to see more people keep harvestmen, more people collect their native species and introduce them into the hobby. It would be nice. They're a very underrated arachnid for sure.
And guys, when you harvest them, get that like geotag
Yeah.
on where you were.
Yeah. Yep.
Maybe pick up a couple species you can send to your local entomologist to say, like, label it where it's from and when you caught it, whatever. So I've been trying
Harvest the harvestman.
Harvest the harvestman.
Yeah, let's get that going.
Just send them one.
Yeah.
Rod Sprague lives in North Idaho, Moscow.
Ah, nice. I'm in like the Boise area, so couple hours away.
Yeah. Beetle Guy wants to know the best habitat. I think it's going to be more like looking around under leaves or
under a
tree or
bark. And like different species you're going to find in different habitats as well. Some species like it more humid, some like it more dry. In general, you're going to want to look in the more humid microclimates though. Under rocks, under logs, under bark, under boards on the ground, that kind of thing. And hope you find some of the more arboreal species. You could probably sweep net off of foliage and stuff. So
I've seen them climbing up literal trees. The ones that we have here, the little generic fuzzy. The little dust bunnies, I call them. But yeah, another common name that's barely makes sense. But I mean, think about it. That's what they look like. Yeah, that's definitely what they look like. I've seen them climbing trees, like not high, but they're going up a tree. But I have seen a lot, like looking for local isopods. I've come across daddy longlegs a lot. So, or harvestmen. So they're all the same species as far as I know. So I'm sure I've seen 12 different ones, but they don't look any different to me. So I didn't see anything cool. If you find a spiny one, guys, I think we all know that spiny things in the invertebrate hobby are hot right now. So get on that. Put them in culture. Contact your invertebrate dude. Contact TJ Ombrelle.
I'm always looking for new interesting harvestman species to get, because I want to get as many species in culture as possible. So I
think that's cool. Then you'll be the harvestman dude. Change it up a little bit. A subsidiary of the invertebrate dude.
Yes.
Right.
I'm gonna have like multiple different brand names: Roach Dude, Beetle Dude, Harvestman Dude, Isopod Dude. I'll dominate it all.
Nice. Roaches and beetles. Now, what kind of beetles are you keeping for future reference?
Darkling beetles. That's my big thing. I probably have bred more species of darklings than anyone in the U.S. Maybe anyone, period. If I had to guess. I've never seen anyone breed as many species as I have, although I would be happy to be proven wrong. Get me in touch with that person if anyone knows.
Someone it's not a contest, but you're winning.
Yeah, I think I've kept like 85 species of darklings, something like that. Oh my God. No, maybe like I think it was like 70 something species of darklings is what I've kept, and then I've bred like half of that. So yeah, those are my big. Yeah, there's a lot of variety. I've only worked with U.S. species, even, and there's a lot of variety in our native darklings. There's thousands of species in the U.S. I'm pretty sure at least 1,000, if not more. Wow. And, they're one of the biggest beetle families ever. So there's a ton of diversity in terms of morphology, color, and habitats for darklings. So yeah, those are one of my big things. Roaches, darklings are both like my biggest passions in this hobby, and then isopods, harvestmen. I keep all sorts of oddball stuff as well. But yeah, I would say roaches and darklings are the bulk of what I keep.
No invertebrate person keeps one thing. Like you could breed 85 species of darkling beetle, and you still have
like one roach. Yeah. Exactly.
No, not one roach. You have like two roach species, 4 tarantulas,
exactly,
3 centipedes. Gross.
Centipedes gross. No, you said
centipedes are the worst.
Centipedes.
No. My skin was crawling off of me last week the whole time.
Yeah.
So I was like, when he showed the live ones, I was like, I'll be right back.
See, I love centipedes. I'm scared of being in contact with them, especially like the bigger ones that have the nastier venom. But I love the way they look. I have a few species, but there
are some that are pretty. I just can't get over the death hug. We decided it's a hug.
I mean, it is the front legs. Yeah, it's a hug of death. Yeah.
So that was here too. That was TMCR right here. Yeah. We decided it was a death hug. And Joe agreed. So the experts agreed with me. Yeah. Let's see. Beetle guy, I wanted to see, collect what? Collector purchase darklings, or are you talking about the harvestmen? Because we covered the harvestmen that he purchased his for culture. Because there isn't that many cool ones, or there aren't that many cool ones in Idaho. Yeah.
And then the beetles, a lot get sent to me from people out of state, but then a lot I have collected myself as well, because it's one of the few things Idaho has a big diversity of is darklings, because they live in high desert. So there's a lot of darkling beetles here. Yeah.
Why didn't that come up? Rod says that he worked at the U of I entomological collection, and they have a couple specimens that have large tristle for feeding on snails.
Yeah, I know that genus. It starts with a T. I forget what it is. It's but snail-eating harvestmen from the Pacific Northwest. There's a genus that specifically eats snails, and they have the huge pedipalps to like rip the no, not pedipalps. I guess it's the chelicerae, but huge chelicerae that they use to rip the snails out of their shells.
Wow!
And then eat them.
So kind of like sun spider face on those guys.
Tiny. Yeah. So they're really neat. Haven't kept those, and I wouldn't be able to until I get snails. If I ever get snails, I want to get snails because I want to keep breed fireflies this year, so they eat snails.
Fireflies need snails. I'm trying to catch fireflies to try to feed them to the ants to see if they're what is it? Oh my god, I lost the brain. Their back end, their ass. I want to see if their ass will glow because they keep in their communal stomach. They just keep stuff. So, oh my god, I can't think of it. It's driving me crazy.
Yeah, the gaster.
The gaster.
No,
thank you.
Is that
Thank
it?
you.
Yes.
I'm supposed to be the ant guy or one of the ant guys, and I can't think of the ass. It's the ass.
Yeah.
But I want to see if it glows. So I'm going to separate like 30 out, and I don't want him to feed it to like babies or something, and it's toxic. I'm pretty sure it's toxic.
If you get some extra fireflies, let me know. Especially if you see ones that look like females, because I do want to breed those this year.
I don't know the difference, but if I collect them, I know we get them, so I could ship them out to you for sure.
Sweet, thanks.
Work out a tree.
Yeah.
Work out a tree.
And
because the females basically hide in the grass, right? They're basically
usually yes, or on low hanging foliage as well. But yeah, usually they have shorter wings than the males. Look a bit fatter.
Okay,
so
I'll definitely have some good. I'm turning my lawn essentially into a wildflower local mix, so I'll definitely have some. Yeah. Okay, so Beetle was asking about your darklings to see if they were. Yeah.
Those some I caught locally, some I traded for or was just simply sent by some of my friends. So
somebody in the UK had a tarantula that eats snails. Tennyson is asking for desert species. What would you use for a substrate on that?
I would use for the Euroburus and the Dalquestia that he's talking about. I would probably use a little bit of clay mixed with sand, mixed with probably still a little bit of coconut fiber for moisture retention. But yeah, I would probably do that instead of just plain coconut fiber, and they'd probably lay in that pretty well. So yeah, that is another thing to keep in mind. Desert species, ones that are found like on more compacted clay and sand soils will probably need a substrate that mimics that in order to get them to lay.
That makes sense.
But yeah. Also, bathroom break, I think.
Oh, we're almost done. We're done.
Okay.
We're basically done.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
I don't see any more. Sorry.
No.
That's funny. That's the first
Yeah.
time that's been asked, and that's good.
Yeah.
I appreciate that you had the thing to ask. So that's good.
Yeah.
Are you the guy that has glowing beetles? That's the last question I'm going to take.
Yes, I have glowing click beetles, several species of bioluminescent click beetles, which glow brighter than most fireflies. And yeah, really, really neat. I have 3 U.S. native species, and I had 1 non-U.S. native species, but unfortunately they were poisoned by pesticides last year. Long story. So, but I should be getting some more of those back in a, hopefully soon.
That always sucks.
So, from my friends. Yeah, so that sucks because those are the big ones. But yeah, I have bioluminescent click beetles. They glow super bright. I think they're technically the brightest glowing insects, period. They have the brightest luminescence of any insects. And you can read, you can grab them and you can read, by the light. Yeah. So they're really cool. They're really cool. But yeah,
just glue onto your phone for the flashlight.
Yep.
Or you could have put them in with the Harvestmen and we could have gotten good shots.
Yeah, there you go. See?
All right, guys, we're going to cut it so that we don't have a pee-pee dance here real soon from TJ. TJ, thanks so much for coming on. I learned a lot. I know there's some questions that we didn't hit. I apologize, guys. I'll try to get answers and put them in the comments. Okay. And it's Rod Sprague. I forgot. I was calling him Spragu the first episode.
Spragu.
The first time he showed up. Yes, I was. I like to mess with people's names, as you can tell.
Yeah.
So I think everybody's very glad you came on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate being here.
I think we'll have you back to talk about darklings. So I didn't know there were
great.
500 species. So 1,000.
Yeah.
So I think we'll do that if you're interested. So I'll reach out.
Definitely be down for that. Yeah.
Yes. Awesome. See you guys. I knew everyone liked me. So thanks a lot, TJ. Thanks for staying as long as you did.
Yes. Right. Thank you for having me. Thanks. It's been fun.
Good. I'm glad. I'll reach out to you for your other information after this. Okay. All right. Have a good one.
Thanks. You too.
Guys, that was awesome. I learned so much. So TJ's an awesome guy. So, and I didn't know that. So I learned something new today. So that I should have known. He's still got his phone camera on in the bathroom. And he can't hear me. So I'm just going to stay here. I just want to see. Oh, it's off. Okay. He must have turned his volume back on. I got a good view of the bathroom. We are almost at 400 subs, guys. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Oh, that was it. We got a new sub. So his name is Adrian. It might be a girl. Adrian Casanova. I'm going to assume that's a guy. That's a hot name, you guys. Things just got a little hotter around here. I don't know about you. Adrian Casanova. So thanks for joining. Yeah, it's way over 500, Beetle. So, yeah, I learned a lot. I didn't know a lot about Harvestmen, but I feel confident to try to get into them again this year. So probably fall. Guys, the ant mantises came today. It's been killing me to do this show with you where I can't go feed them. I'm going to try to film. It's not necessarily an unboxing because they're unboxed, but I got them from Corey Allen. They're really cool. They're like maybe a 1/4 inch long right now. They're L3s, and we'll have a video of them eating hopefully tonight. If not, I'll try to film it at the next feeding. But they look like ants until they move their head, and then they don't anymore. But they do. The segments on them looks like ants. So awesome. He's still around. So yeah. So we have some new subs. If you guys share the video with people you think might like it or pages you think might like it, go ahead, or an old video in a group that it applies to. I don't know. Still trying to get Luch on the show, talk about monitors. He won't do it yet. He's always too busy. So if you guys could pressure Luch into coming on the show, he's got some great monitor setups. So yeah, we're gonna have links for TJ in the down there part. We're gonna have links for the Patreon. I mean, We don't, but it's Patreon ISO Buddies. You can look it up. So it'll be in there, hopefully. The more we get support, the more we can do, the more cool things we can do and try to get into, like unboxings and side videos. So do a little more content that's not live stream. So we can do that, like, I guess, with my piddly little collection, or doing on-sites at shows, at expos, at other pet shops. We can do more of that. So I really want to get into that a little bit more if we can. So we need to, for real, set a date. Yes, we do. We do, Luch. We do. Insert peer pressure. Yes, I will use peer pressure against people all the time. Okay? So I'm not afraid of it. I did it all through high school. It's been like 40 years. Let's do it. It hasn't been 40 years since I got in high school. So all you old men that are watching right now, thank you. I appreciate it. I know retirement's coming up. We got to be looking forward to that. So yeah, like and subscribe, share the love. Okay. I love you guys. Thank you so much. If you're already a patron, know that I love you. I'm working on a board, a backer board type of thing that shows everybody. And I'm going to start listing them down below. So, and posting more content on Patreon. So, maybe we'll have patron only videos like the feeding of the ant mantis. Anyway, thinking out loud, guys, we'll talk to you later. I love you. Next week, I don't remember what next week is. I think we're talking to Wally. I think we're talking to Wally about budgeting next week. Maybe not, though. We'll find out soon. Talk to you later. Love you.